It's the start of a new week on the WTA, but the stars of women's tennis still have their eyes very firmly fixed on the same prize, the prestigious BNP Paribas Trophy. Over the last few days at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, we've seen the triumphant return of a past champion. Last year's runner-up make an earlier than hoped for exit, and plenty of WTA rising stars making their marks felt in the draw. So what does the second week in the Californian desert have in store? On Monday, it was time for the last few third-round ties to be decided. Opening play, two of the brightest prospects on tour, Genie Bouchard and American rising star Coco Vandeweghe, meeting for the first time in their young careers. Bouchard was aiming to reach the last 16 of Indian Wells for the second year in a row, while Vandeweghe had never been beyond this stage of the competition before. Unfortunately for her home crowd, that didn't look like changing as Bouchard broke for a 5-3 lead in the first set before wrapping it up in the following game.
Game first set, Bouchard. 6 games to 3.
The world number 7 then edged ahead early in the second and didn't look back, closing out a comfortable 6-3, 6-2 win in just over an hour to set up a meeting with qualifier Lesia Tsurenko.
2 sets to love, 6-3, 6-2.
I'm happy. I think I was very solid. She does have some good weapons, so I was ready for that, and I think I was able to neutralize them well and take my chances when I had them. So that's my favorite way of playing, and it's a lot more fun for me as well.
Over on the revamped Stadium 3, 2011 champion Caroline Wozniacki took on Swiss teenager Belinda Bencic. The 31st seed showed exactly why she's been hailed as a future Grand Slam winner, playing some stunning tennis on her way to a 6-4, 6-4 win over the world number 5. The result is quite a contrast to their first meeting in Istanbul last season, when Bencic failed to win a single game.
Last time I lost 6-0, 6-0. That was a really tough loss, and today I was happy as I won the first game. I'm just really excited, and this is a huge win for me.
The new darling of American tennis, Madison Keys, was hoping to keep the trend of youth over experience going when she took on 2010 winner Jelena Jankovic. Keys, who reached her first Grand Slam semi-final at the Australian Open earlier this year, looked to have the match in her hands after taking a competitive first set, 7-5. Unlike Keys, Jankovic hasn't had the best of seasons so far. The former world number 1 has dropped outside the top 20, having won just 3 matches since January. But the Serbian looked intent on getting her 4th. She caught back valiantly to take the second set. And the 30-year-old completed a stunning comeback to set up a mouth-watering 4th round clash against Wozniacki's conqueror Bencic.
Game, set and match, Jankovic. 2 sets to 1, 5-7, 6-4, 6-3.
It was a very difficult match overall. Madison played so well. I was able to stay strong mentally and physically and win this third set.
With Wozniacki and Keys both out, world number 6 Anna Ivanovic was hoping to avoid being the third big casualty of the day when she went up against Caroline Garcia. Things didn't look good for the 2008 champion as the first set went the way of the big serving Frenchwoman. Garcia served for victory in the second set, but Ivanovic showed some trademark fighting spirit to turn the set in her favour. Ahead early in the third, the match looked to be the Serbians for the taking, but Garcia had other ideas. Another WTA rising star living up to her hype, Garcia cruised through the remainder of the cider to beat Ivanovic for the second tournament in a row. Finally, a battle of 2 WTA heavyweights took centre stage under the lights. Maria Sharapova and Victoria Azarenka have one of the closest rivalries on the WTA. Azarenka leads the head-to-head 7-6, but this was the pair's first meeting in almost 2 years. Since then, Azarenka has dropped down the rankings after an injury-plagued 2014 season, but following a run to the final in Doha, the Belarusian looked full of confidence as she got the first break in the opening set.
New balls, please.
Her lead didn't last long though. Sharapova bounced straight back, and once she was in front, it stayed that way. The Russian closed out the first set 6-4 and upped her level to race through the second. She needed 6 match points to close out the win, but a meeting that could have easily been a stumbling block for her was in the end a fairly routine victory, and it sees the world number 2 edge ever closer to that record 3rd Indian Wells win.
So it's always a good challenge playing against Vika earlier on in the tournament. We haven't played in a really long time, so just kind of seeing each other's game again. Even though it's familiar and we've played many times, you still have to get used to the bounce and the serving patterns and things like that. So I didn't serve really well in the first set. That's something that I improved in the second. I think that made it a lot easier for me.
On Tuesday, the final 16 will all be in action, with a coveted place in the BNP Paribas Open quarterfinals at stake. The picks see Sharapova take on defending champion Flavia Pennetta, and in an intriguing matchup, young American Sloane Stephens takes on compatriot and world number 1 Serena Williams.